Hey everybody, this is Mr. Steven. Today I'm going to talk about some more measurement things. We're going to talk some more about some non-standard measurement. Last week and the week before we talked about non-standard measurement where you measured things with paper clips and cubes and erasers and blocks and those kinds of things, teddy bears. Now we're going to talk about something that's body parts. Very strange, body parts as non-standard measurements. A long time ago, the Egyptians did this, and they started it, and they talked about a few different things. One of the things they talked about was something called a handspan, where you use your hand to measure. Okay? By doing a handspan, what you do is you spread your fingers out as far as you can go, and you measure from your thumb to your little tiny pinky finger all the way across. And so if I'm measuring this board right here, I spread it out and I measure it like that, and that board is one handspan. So, handspan. Another thing we're going to talk about is one called the Footspans. And that's a pretty easy one. Everybody, lots of times people measure with their feet. I've seen kids do it at school, everywhere I've seen people do it. Only this Footspans is only the length of your foot. You put your right foot down, your left foot down, your right foot down, your left foot down, and you measure like that. And the last way to measure we're going to talk about is kind of a weird way. It's kind of a way called the Cubit. And what they mean by Cubit, it means from your elbow to your fingertip. What that means, if I put my arm up like this, I'm measuring from my elbow right here all the way up to my longest finger, my fingertip there. It's a very strange measurement. They called it elbow to fingertip, but then they changed the name to Cubit because it was easier to say. All right, so we're going to measure those. I'm going to show you some things that I measure using all those, and then I want you to shut off the video, and I want you to go try measuring things with your handspan, your Footspan, and your Cubit. Okay? So here we go. So first of all, Mr. Steven is going to go over and use his handspan to measure, and I'm going to go over here in my house to a bench I have here with a cushion on it. Now, I'm going to get down here, maybe you can see me easier. And so what I'm going to do is spread my hand apart like this. I'm going to start with my smallest finger out here at the very edge and spread it out here as far as I can go, and that's one handspan. I'm going to use this hand, this finger to mark where it stops. And then I'll go like this, that's 2. And I'll keep on going like this, that's 3. And that's 4. And that's 5. And that's 6. And that's 7. Oh boy, this is going to be almost perfect. That's 8 handspans. 8 handspans, this whole cushion here on top of this bench in Mr. Steven's house. 8 of my handspans. Now the next thing I'm going to measure this rug I'm standing on right here, and I'm going to use my Footspan to measure this. You can do it with socks on or with no socks, bare feet. Don't have your shoes on. Take your shoes off to do this one. Okay, same thing. You take your foot, you put your heel right at the back of where you're starting. So I'm starting right here, and I've got my left foot down, and then I'm going right foot. That's 2. And then my left foot, that's 3. And my right foot, that's 4. And my left foot, that's 5. And my right foot, that's 6. And my left foot, that's 7. And just a tiny bit more. So this rug is about 7 Footspans of Mr. Steven's foot. Another way to measure. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure using my Cubit, my elbow to my fingertip. And I'm going to measure the couch I was sitting on here to do this. And so the way I'm going to do this, it's kind of a strange thing, but I have to take my elbow and put it right at the very edge of where the couch is and spread that out like that. Okay? I'll use my finger to mark where my fingertip is there. There's 1. My elbow right there. There's 2. There's 3. And this one's going to be a little bit off. It's a little bit, I'm a little longer than 4, so it's not quite 4 cubits to do this one. Okay? All right, so to review what I did, the first thing I did was I went over there and measured my bench, and I used my handspan. The second thing I did was I measured the rug down on the ground there, and I used my foot to do my Footspans to measure the rug. And the last thing I did was something called a cubit, which is my elbow to my fingertip, and I measured this couch I'm sitting on to do the cubit measurement. Okay, now it's your turn. So go find 3 things to measure in your house. Shut the video off, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.